Peace, love, love. It is Tuesday tea. Y'all come on in. Y'all know we're trying to start right on time. Come in, grab your tea, come sip with me. We're gonna vibe today. How y'all feeling? How y'all doing? Today I am sipping on some spearmint tea. I put spearmint in my jasmine calming blend, which is on my site right now. So y'all check it out. We gotta have that medicine, that calming energy. I also have my tea mug, my moon tea here, Moon Goddess Tea, available on my site. So y'all check that out. The link is in the bio. So we're gonna go ahead and bring in Sister Shauna Williams. Peace, peace. Waving at you. Where you at? There we go. All right. Peace as we bring her in. We're gonna go ahead and just jump on this vibe, on this new moon energy. It's connecting. Peace, y'all. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, so cute. Peace.
Hello,
Peace,
I'm
Shauna.
sideways.
You are like sideways, love. What's going on?
Here, I'll
Come together.
I'll be right
That's how
back.
you come in, right? You just gonna come in like
Sideways.
from the side
Oh my
view.
Hi.
Peace. Hi, love.
Oh, it's so good to see you.
I know. I'm
Always.
like, why haven't we seen each other? It's not like we live in the same city or something.
Right. So close. So
I
close.
know. All the things, right? All the things we do.
Yes. I love the tea that you're drinking. I love that spearmint. When you said it, I was like, I could definitely get on some of that spearmint. So I'll be hitting you up for some spearmint tea.
Yes, good. Yes, that is the vibe right now. That is just like keeping me revigorated, and keeping everything calm at the same time, keeping the digestive system going, all those things. Need that. Yes. How you doing? What's your flow like lately?
I'm doing well. I have really been focusing my intention on bringing my platforms out into the world in a very clear way. So tomorrow I have a master class and I've just been preparing for that. And right now I'm drinking on some nettles and mullein tea. Yes, the mullein.
See, I tried to sneak that in. This is Shauna's book, and I know it might be backwards. But yes, the spiritual magic of a queer POC. So y'all follow. I am Shauna Williams. Y'all pick up her works. Beautiful, beautiful story. Beautiful, strong story. I will say that. Strong story, strong purpose. Good. So nettle tea. What is the nettle tea? That's my vibe too. But I usually go to that like in the springtime. So what does nettle tea do for you?
Yeah, so my body's just been calling for like like a higher level of detox and clearing and like really grounding into my own ability to heal even more, on a higher level. So the nettle calms me down and it's like it grows right here. The mullein as well. So it's like connecting more to the earth, connecting more to my own internal system of healing and chilling, like chilling and breathing.
That's the vibe. I just love the abundance of like being able to go outside. We're not talking about we growing it. We're talking about it's wild here. So we just go out and forage this nettle, this mullein, all the other stuff. I know it's my spring herb because of that cleansing, and it helps to adjust my immune system as we go into the spring and all the allergies and such. So I was grabbing a lot of that in the beginning of the season to put it in my like pesto. I think I posted a picture of that and different things. So yes, that is a reminder. Thank you for reminding me that it's still out there and I can go to that.
And you always make me hungry. I'm like, ooh, pesto, ooh, cheesecake, ooh, whatever else you're making. Can I have some?
I'm a foodie for real. I love my food. It gotta be healthy, but hey, I love to eat. So you are welcome to it.
I will definitely eat some of that and come in and get a plate. Like, talk about a plate. Like, that's a healthy food plate. It's not like your average Sunday plate full of just all kinds of stuff that's delicious in nature but not healthy.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
You posted something earlier about, oh my gosh, a throwback or a memory on I wish I could find black soap and natural shea butter.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh my God, I wish I could too. I wonder where she's found it, and you're making it.
Yes, we have it in the shop and in our collective. Yes, that was, and yeah, that's what it's been like this last couple of weeks of just seeing my cycles. I love Facebook memories for that. It just shows your cycles and patterns of thought and whatever going on in your life. And so yeah, it just popped up on my feed like last year. This time I was looking. Every time I would go to Greensboro, I was having to bring some back, or Atlanta. So yeah, a year later, I am part of a collective here that has started a shop of Black-owned businesses, Black-owned wholesalers and vendors and artists. And we are wholesaling the shea butter and the soap now. So I didn't even think about it till I saw it. I was like, oh, I became the plug. What happened?
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, that grand opening is August 17th. So looking forward to seeing you.
And I thought I missed it, but that was a soft opening.
Yes, that was a soft opening. That was the gallery. We had a gallery exhibit. One of our youth artists got a grant for the gallery opening, and so we just decided to open up the shop and start putting in and introducing it during that time. So it was very beautiful, very successful. Just artists and just the support that we received and everything. So yeah, it's I don't know. I don't even know like how that came about. I mean, it's always been my calling to, to promote economic growth, to participate in it in black businesses and black dollars. And so, yeah, it just seemed like the thing to do. So it feels good.
I feel like just watching you and just being aware of life these last few months and always, but just like there's this honed in sense of awareness here lately. And I would love to just like hear about these last few months from you stepping out of the role you were in and just how like abundance and creation has just been flowing through.
Yeah. It's just been, I was telling you that another post I did, a memory post today, was realizing that I'm this walking altar, right? And so in that practice, that was in the beginning. I think I posted that originally in 2015. So that was in the beginning of my initiation into my spiritual practice and spiritual arts now. And through that, it was a reconditioning that was happening, right? It was for me to become more intentional in my purpose. So every cycle, and I'm talking about every moon cycle since then, it's about me being intentional in the things that I'm doing. And the practice is, of course, taking on a life to where now it's my lifestyle on a daily basis. But I get to look at the things that I'm doing and how it's not only benefiting me, but it's first benefiting others. So that's where the abundance piece comes in. Moving to Asheville 2 years ago, or almost 2 years ago, it hasn't even quite been, it was coming from a cycle of like, okay, next time I move, it's going to be, my ancestors going to bring me there. It ain't going to just be me just getting in the van and going, because I've done that. It's going to be intentional. So my ancestors brought me here. It said this is where I need to be. And ever since then, it was like, okay, who do I need to link with? What are my networks? Who are my relationships? Where do I need to set up? And so in listening and surrendering, and it took me to a long, how it is. Like, it's like, no, you want to fight, no, I thought I had my ideas of how things are going. And so it was a deep listening and surrendering that happened along this process of being able to, make the transition. When I got here, I was doing the mental health. And that has been an in and out career flow for the last 10 years. And it's just been a way for me to connect to the darkness, the shadow, and bring in medicine from another place. And through this transition, it's just allowed me to be more intentional in where I am in community, where I'm being placed in community. So now I have this different like worldview, this different perspective, this different medicine that I can give to all of my people, my Black people that are suffering in darkness and mental health. And we're seeing that on the main entertainment, screen right now. And also those that are just, right, in our neighborhoods. and those of us that are on different levels of awareness, and how to bring in just the medicine of just being able to hold space. So, you know, my spiritual practice has become, I've opened that to others to share in my journey and some of the tools that I'm using so that they can benefit as well. So it's really just a surrendering and a gratitude practice every day, every day. But I know you know this.
I did. And I'm resonating. I'm like, yes. Because I mean, we can't talk about it too much. We can't be in the energy of it enough. So it's like anytime we can presence this and also share it through our language, through our spells, right? Through our magic, it just makes it that much more powerful. Absolutely. So that's beautiful. Yes. Oh my gosh.
So tell me about your practice, your transitions, as you are still a very newbie here, but you have been in this practice for how long? Of just like this, realizing your spiritual being, realizing you are the altar, right?
Yeah. It has definitely been our journey. I mean, like, I started doing magic as a kid that I talked about in my book, but like really realizing that like I don't have to go anywhere. You know, like God is not outside of me. Has been like, I used to question it because I grew up in the South in church, so like we were in the pews. We were the pew, you know, so like
right.
Questioning that and questioning like, wait, is this true? Was something that I was really in. And then like when I turned 18, I started to sit, and I'm 34 now. So like for a while, like starting to sit, being in silence for days, not talking for days, just sitting in meditation and really coming home into myself, into my internal power, my internal sanctuary altar. It's been a great journey and a great long road. And like how it's supporting me today is that like I was in an active listening training this weekend, and one of the scenarios that they were putting people through is like, okay, let's say that you're in your car and you reach this point of traffic where you're delayed 2 hours and you're feeling all these frustrating emotions. And I literally couldn't even go there. I'm just like praying, I hope that the people are okay that's causing the stop in traffic. Yeah. I'm not annoyed. Like, I don't need to get anywhere fast, you know. It's just like I have time to just be wherever I am. And it's like, if things like that just robbed my joy and stole my joy so easily, I understand why Kanye, Tamar are like losing their placing, losing their footing, losing their truth, right? Because like there's too much externally that can just rob us and rock us. And that's what this world was created for, or has been created, has like formed itself into, which we're recreating back to point zero. But it's like I get to have that within myself, and I've been able to like really be able to pull myself out of like, I'm not gonna go here, I'm not gonna go there, I'm gonna just like spend time by myself. And going back to that like 18 years old, sitting in silence, meditating, talking when I'm ready, not talking if I don't want to, but like having that freedom of choice. And that's really what like having that altar within me is like, I have the power to choose when I speak, what I say, like to command worlds and to be like in charge and a co-creator of my actions, thoughts, and words. Like, it's powerful.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That practice of being still, being silent. And then when you're coming up out of that, is affirming what you know, affirming what was in that stillness. And that's how all of this can go on around you, and you are still like, you know, just zone, just really vibing, and and being abundant and whatever else, because it is that practice of like, I am the God in me, and that resonates all throughout. And that takes a lot to get to, because there's a lot of breaking down the barriers, especially we talked about this in the last Tuesday tea, especially when you're dealing with religion conditioning from your childhood. But also what I've realized is the social constructs, right? The social constructs that we have signed ourselves up for. It's just little things about, I've talked about the niceties, just the things that keeps us into this confinement of we have to be this way in order to receive some type of validation or love or receptivity from somebody else, instead of just being who we authentically came to be, right?
Yes.
And that takes a whole nother, on a whole nother practice, I want to talk about like more about that silence also. Like that is powerful. I know we talked about you doing a silent meditation before. I haven't done that. I don't even know if I've done a silent meditation practice to where I've done like 24 hours or anything like that. I'm always in walking meditation. So I have no trouble sitting in silence with other people or just with myself, but I've never intentionally done like a talking fast per se. I guess, just tell me about that for you. Like, what is that specific experience for you?
Yeah, my spirit says, Shauna, we need to stop talking. And it will say like 3 days, 4 days, 1 day, 8 hours. And I'm just like, okay, all right, let's do this. And it's like, for me, it's the power. Like there's an art of silence, and there's so much to hear in silence. And so in a world where it's so noisy, or where we have a mind that may be more accustomed to all of that mental chatter, it's like to just be. And I mean, like I used to sit, like when I was first starting, when I was 18, and like felt like I was crawling out of my skin. But it's like, what power to have to be able to just sit with your thoughts and what you're feeling, and not have to grab for a drug, grab for a phone, grab for a person. Like, talk about emboldening, talk about empowerment. Like, yeah. And it's so funny that you asked me that question. I've been feeling it more. So I'm like, okay, so feeling 2 days of silence. How and where am I going to fit it in? So like within the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be in silence again.
Yes. That is I can sense it. I can feel it with you. It's a powerful practice. One of the things that I teach even my youth and my young ones is, it's a practice of just listening to your own breath. So in the beginning, I always give this instruction when people are learning to first start meditating. It's not all these other things that we think we're supposed to be doing, of cutting off the mind and all these other things. Just listen to your breath, because that is, again, like that inner work, that listening to yourself. Some of us we don't even know how we breathe, like because it's so autonomous, but it's really not, it really takes a conscious intention to move that energy throughout our body. And I know, again, like I'm talking directly about your practice, because I've done your breath work and been like, me as a yoga instructor have been like, okay, let's move all of this, whatever it is, and just being guided in that breath. It just breaks up all of that stagnant energy that is in the body, that's mind, and in the spirit, and allows it to flow. So I'm definitely feeling like any of that practice of just this deep listening, inner listening, and being quiet and being still. And yeah, like you said, it is difficult. It's in some sense of like feeling like, especially when you're with someone else, because it's like, okay, do I say something? Is this uncomfortable? Do I, all those things start going on in your head.
Oh my gosh. So I have been like in cohabitating with partners before, and like I'm about to go on 3 days of silence, and they're like, can I text you? Like, are we gonna watch together? And I'm like, you can do whatever you want, but I will not be speaking. Like, that's just what you need to know. And so it's interesting just to see like the discomforts that can come up. Last year I did a journey within like my program and initiation. I did like this 90-day journey, and the first week was cutting out all sensory. So no phone, no music, no TV, no nothing, which took out a lot of things that like my then partner and I connected on. So like just to see our relationship blow up, which I imagine is a lot of what relationships are experiencing right now. It was just like, oh, okay. Like without all of this, we get to really see us and all of our all of our everything. And when I'm heightened to my stuff, I'm heightened to your stuff. And how will we move through this? And so, I mean, like in the vow of silence, it's like, I don't have to tell you anything right now. I'm just watching,
Yeah.
Watching.
And that's where the uncomfortable part comes in. It's like, because especially when you're as sober sensitive as I am, so I can feel the discomfort and I can feel the thoughts racing in your head and mine, the energy moving, the fluctuation of attitude, like all of that stuff. Yeah, so it does. It takes a strong sense of self and boundaries. And I think that's something that has been a practice, especially in my life. And I was talking to this about a mentee of mine today about having those boundaries. You know, it comes a point of being able to draw the line at where we begin and where the world, you know, or where we stop and the world begins. And that practice of cutting off the phone, you know, cutting off communication with certain people, that's something that I do weekly. And I can tell sometimes it gets to the point, oh yeah, so I will cut it all down, shut it all down. Because I have to, because I haven't, my world has changed a lot since COVID, but I'm still very active in it. So I still have to be intentional about getting my silent time in and making sure I'm hearing my own voice. And so I've had to cut off, and I like to wind down with, you know, anime, you know, a good movie, you know, things like that. But sometimes I can feel it, you know, I can, as I'm watching the screen and I'm really, you know, thinking I'm winding down, but you can feel it in your body, that tightness, that, you know, that something, you know, needs to be just shut down so you can hear. It's like an inner screaming. Like,
Yes. Oh my gosh. So silent, so subtle, but so loud at the same time.
oh,
It's
oh
wild.
yeah, it's loud. It's loud. And I just think about, so that frequency, right? Because I think that in itself is a frequency, and then like all of this is starting to download. If you don't listen to that inner scream, that loudness is telling you to be silent and shut it down, that's what starts to affect all of like the health issues, all the mental health issues, everything in our body, because it's too much. It's so much that I think that this frame, this human flesh and blood, can only deal with it when we're intaking all of this toxic stuff from everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's just a reminder of just being, and not always feeling like we have to be connected to everything and everyone at every time.
Yes, so actively, so communicatively.
Mm.
Like there have been a few things that have come to my mind. So the first one, when you said that we're not even connected to the way, like we can't even hear our breath or connected to the way that we breathe in our breath pattern, like I felt that in my heart. Like, damn, you know, like that breaks my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Like that we are so conditioned to be outside of ourselves, or to just be so in our mind and like the isms of it, that we can't even be connected to the one thing that anchors us to the life force energy,
Mm-hmm.
and that gives us life, the prana,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like that just breaks my heart. So I'm like, my hope and prayer is for everyone to like get to know your breath. I feel like to know thy breath is to know thyself, and that's deep self intimacy, which is so imperative right now. So that's one thing that came to my mind. And then it was you talking about anime and like just being able to, it's like we are in the work constantly. Like we are the work at this point. And so it's like to just be able to watch something that doesn't take you having to solve anything or like work any magic on anything. And my body's been changing so much, and like the integration of like my spirit body and all of the elevation and ascension that's been happening. And it's like I used to just zone out on Family Guy, right? That was like my show. I was watching it the other day and I was like, damn, when did this show get so messed up? Like, I can't even watch this show anymore. Like, Dewey's killing somebody. Like, when does Dewey start killing people?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't watch it anymore. And I literally took it off of my save. Like, I can't watch it. And like the things that my body craves. And it's like, if I didn't listen to that, and that's a practice in and of itself, is listening to yourself and following the intuition. But the more that we ignore that, the more we get into muddy waters. And the more that I ignored that, the more that I got into muddy waters. So like I cannot sacrifice that anymore, because that gets into like not being able to trust myself, not being able to be in the flow of my magic, not being able to stand in like my autonomy. Like it's too costly. It's too costly for me. So those are some things that was like moving through my brain space as I was like, as I've been listening to you and like connecting to your words in this time.
Yes. Oh, it was so much there. It was just so much there. I'm like, I don't even know. I I think part of, yeah, the anime practice. I think also like vibrationally. Oh, you were talking about your body changing. Okay, so that is something that I realized about myself in the last couple of years. I think before I used to attribute it to age or whatever, because I would feel like my body, as soon as the year hit, it was like, boom, okay, what is happening? And I used to take it negatively, like, oh, I'm getting older. But no, it's not even that. A lot of times it has nothing to do with age. It's not something that's deteriorating. But I realized that my body is changing on a molecular level. The more that I began to like cleanse certain things, certain vibrations out of my body is changing. So I can literally feel, this stretching, these growing pains, these places where the breath can now flow that it wasn't able to flow before, things like that. And again, if we're not listening to our body, if we're not listening for those little things, we are thinking and affirming that it's something wrong, instead of understanding that no, along with the shifts and all the changes that we're making, our body is now adjusting and changing frequencies as well. And because we can't, like this 3D form can't exist in certain levels of vibrations that we are, attracting in our life. And so it's just, yeah, it's so beautiful, so much. It can get so scientific and spiritual at the same time. I love this practice. I can talk about it forever.
Yeah.
Because it really is that deep. We think that, I think, yeah, the previous world was so separate in mind over here, body over here, something else over there. And the practice is really about, our life practice is really about this integration and paying attention to all the parts, because everything, I talk about nature a lot, like everything in nature has its growth periods, has its seasonal periods, but they also have these intersections and integrations with other things in the environment, in their ecosystems, that help to create them, to keep them growing and to nurture them. So if we are the same way. We're organic beings that are dependent on so much, dependent on each other, but also dependent on so much other than all of these other things that are like clouding up the frequencies of our mind, of our body, and our spirit. So yeah, it's so amazing. We are
literally
beings.
Like, okay, we're going into a different dimension with this conversation. It's like the 7 levels of consciousness and like the spaces that we enter with each other. And like, we went from like a 4, because we had not been at a 1 this entire time. We went from like a 4 to like a 6, and my body was like, okay, all right, this is where we going.
Yes. That's, I mean, just going there. And that's one of the things that I've been like hesitant about, even like getting on these live streams and doing that, because it was like, oh, who's gonna tap into that? But I'm grateful, because it's been so many connections and so many people just resonating with it and understanding, because it's time to jump these frequencies. It's time to open up these portals and know that we are capable of being able to do that, knowing that we are very powerful. And yes, it does take practice. Yes, it does take detaching ourselves. I heard you talking about that, of like, and different things, of the things that we were used to doing that we once liked. It's going to come a time when we have to detach from them, the people, the places, the things, all of that. But in that, knowing that you are affirming that growth, you are affirming that larger capacity to be able to accomplish what you came here to do.
Yeah. And I have right now, it's like, talk about full blown, all the witches, magicians, like goddesses, gods coming out of the closet. Like, my newsfeed is just like blowing up with people just like rocking everybody else's worlds. And it's like, I love the aspect of social work. Like, I study social work. I know that we both have that mental health background. Mm-hmm. And I love holding that standard of meeting people where they are, but then where the magic piece comes in and the spirituality comes in, it's like meeting people where they are while holding the mirror of where they can be and where we're going. Mm-hmm. So it's like both of them gets to happen, but never breaking myself down here.
Yeah, I was telling my son today, I saw this, it's this, I don't know if you've seen this couple, this beautiful gray older black couple that went virtual. I mean, they are gorgeous. The sister, they're like 60 years old, gray. She got her bikini top, her stomach out, her short shorts, and he just looked like he just 20. Like both of them look like 20, but they're older. And it went virtual, and it's just a whole vibe. And I've seen people repost it, and there was a comment on one where this brother was like, oh, they just need to sit down somewhere because age is a thing. And I was like, that blew my mind, yo, because I was like, you mean to tell me that these people are visibly living their best life, and you still could, and that's the social construct stuff I was talking about. It's like you still feel like they have to sit down? Like, how
Yes.
dare you? And that was like just confirmation for me of like, there's no way I'm giving my life for anyone, because I could be doing all of the things, checking off all the boxes, and it could be that one person that decides, nah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, yeah, holding that vibration, holding that mirror, that space, but yet still being able to be compassionate, show empathy, be humane,
Yes.
and I think that's difficult for a lot of people, of being able to still feel like they have um some sense of knowledge. I think the way they communicate knowledge to me can be very harmful, because it's based in ego. It's based in, in the self-importance. Is based in the I know this over you. All these power constructs, and instead of really holding space for that person to figure out where they are, like where their self-empowerment is, and being with them on the journey to that. But still, yeah, still doing you, being you, sharing whatever you need to share within the boundaries of whatever you feel like you need to do to protect your vibe. But
Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't have to be this power struggle of, I know something and you don't, or
False, like this false power dynamic. And it's like, what keeps me tethered and grounded is like the whole saying, but for the grace of God, there go I. Like, may I never look down on a man that's sinking, woman, being that's sinking, and look down on them like, how are you there? It's like, I know how you're there. Allow me to support you. Right? Like, that's one thing. And then it's like, this is a good time to question everything. Things that we believed our entire lives, things that we were taught, things that like we're like, this must be this way. Like, it's a great time to just talk about silence, sit with yourself for 3 hours and question everything. And then like
yes, yes, yes.
yes.
And I think that's pertinent right now. Like, it definitely has to happen, because if this, again, talking about the frequency change, right? If we are on a different frequency and things are being revealed to you and you're not addressing them, and now we're taking it outside of the body, right? Things that are being revealed to you about your personal beliefs, all this other stuff, all these conditionings, and you're not taking a responsibility and accountability for the harm that they're doing. We've seen the consequences that can happen. And right here in Asheville, we've seen immediate consequences. The turnarounds have been like, boom. Okay, you're gonna give hate, you're gonna receive hate. You're gonna take life, your life is gonna be taken. It's that serious. Like, it's coming to that point in this vibrational frequency of the earth where you are totally responsible and accountable for your choices and your actions.
Yes. Cause and effect has been exponentially expedited right now. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. It's real. It's real out here in these streets, for real. That's the part that's been blowing my mind in this. It's like, before, because I'm like, especially as magic workers, right? It's like, we can I can just remember like doing certain spells, and then like laboring to watch it come to pass, and it can be overcycled, and sometimes, it's not even gonna be in his lifetime, right? But now it's like, I mean, I'm just like, wow. And then I'm like, oh, that's why you know, that's why it was this power struggle as well, because they didn't want us to know how powerful we are.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah. Stole our magic and used it against us and disempowered us to believe that it was evil, wrong, and not right. So it's like we're waking up, or we have already awakened, right? And taking it back fully. When people say take your power back, that's what I think of. Yeah. It's not like, oh, I need to take my power. It's like, no, I need to use the things that were built into my DNA, my lineage, that have been used against me in lies. And now I'm going to like create worlds, right? Like create all that we need right now.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And that's definitely what we've been calling for, what our ancestors have been calling for. You know, it's just this, now it's like, now we have the perfect opportunity, like you said, to take advantage of all of that. But that takes a lot of courage. It takes a whole hell of a lot of courage to do that, because again, you have to detach. Your whole world is going to change. Your whole world perception is going to change. So it takes a lot to be able to step out as your light, into the light, through your darkness. Like all of those people.
Over again. Like as many times as needed. As many times as needed.
Over again. It's like, just like when you think you're done, it's like, oh. But those transitions can be, you know, the more that you practice, the more that, you know, we use our tools, those transitions can be sweet. They can be, they can be glorious. They can be victorious. And it took me a long time to learn that. It took me like all of my, you know, just, up until a couple years ago. Being like, oh, I don't have to keep hitting my head, you know? Like, let's be real. Like yesterday.
And that just like, it's just a level of consciousness, right? It's like we think that we're there, and then it's like, but wait, there's this whole other level. Like I feel it's wild, because it's like at some point in my mind, it's like I believe that we do fully access all that's here for us, but then there's also this other reality of like there's so much more than we can ever imagine, and we're not fully ready, but like it's gonna take bits and pieces until we're like, okay, I'm ready, more and more and more. And that's why it just comes to us in a way. But like, even saying that, it's like, that was last year. That was so last year. This year it's not happening. It's just like, here it is.
Yes. And that's because, the way, you know, our mind is flesh and bone, right? This is mind. We think that our brain can only receive information and what we already know, right? We can only that's just how the brain works. It's these receptors of the conditionings, the things we've seen, the patterns, the memories and all of that. It's just a compilation of that. That's all it is. So anything beyond that, it's hard to do. So that's why when we try to focus on our goals, it takes imagination in order to be able to do that. Something outside of the mind. It takes being still to be able to do that, because the mind can only perceive what has only already, experienced. And so, and so now using that imagination, which is why that has been like the mantra for me and my practice, and, that I give out to all my clients and everything this year, is to be the visionary. Because now, as you were mentioning, it being the perfect time for us to create this world, we have to use our wildest imagination. So that's what I keep calling on to people. It's like, whatever you think, whatever whatever the pattern that you've seen in the past, throw it away. Throw it away. Especially if not something that you want to continue to happen, throw it away. Now use your wildest imagination and go for it.
Yes, because that's the only thing that's been blocking us, is our ability to imagine. Yeah. Like, that's magic. That's where magic lives. I love that.
Yes. That's the creative energy. That's the creator energy. Yes, is an imagination. So it's, it, like when the reparations thing happened here in Asheville, and the reparations passed, I got all kind of feedback. And it was just like, y'all, can we celebrate? Like, whatever you think it is, whatever, because our mind cannot perceive, because it's never happened before. It was just like in such denial. Everybody was like, no, but. And I was like, y'all, just open your mind, or let the mind go. That's just for a moment.
Oh my,
Celebrate.
oh my gosh. I was like, sis, so is there some like underneath writing I'm paying attention to, or are we celebrating this? Like, which one is
Right,
it?
right. But I'm so glad you even said that, because you at least you knew it was like it was two roads, right? It was like we can go where we was, where we always go with it, or we can just like turn up. So what we
Yeah.
go to.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yes. So celebrating that, like, yes, that's a victory, and may it like
Yeah.
continue. Like, in a way, it's like just the beginning of what's due to us, like what we're entitled to. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. We taking it. We taking it. Like it's just I mean, yes. It's yeah. Wildest dreams. Wildest dreams. I'm loving that though. I appreciate that. And sometimes we do. We have to give each other permission, especially when we have such experiences where we don't want to get our hopes up. We've been let down. All the smoke screens, all the lies, whatever. And we have to. That's why we in our Black and brown bodies have to give ourselves permission to celebrate. To give ourselves permission to just be in Black joy. All of those things, so that we can. That's a vibrational change. So we can celebrate in a different way than what we celebrated before.
yes, and so deeply in our culture, Joy, it's wild. It's like we grew up on, or like in church with this saying of like, baby, don't let anybody steal your joy.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't even know what that meant to embody it until right now. I feel like until these last few years, like we fully get what that means and how we've been giving it away.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's been beautiful. The talk of conversations around mental health has never been so transparent. In all my years of working in mental health and of experiencing in my own family system, of just that alone to me, because there's so much stuck in the trauma cycles in our lives, and in our families and in our DNA. So when we are now talking about those, now those cycles can be healed. Now those cycles can stop, and we can build, on the joy. We can build on something new. But first, it has to be talked about. It has to be revealed. It has to be worked through. But it's been after so many generations of like, sweeping crazy under the rug, it's no longer working. It's no longer working. Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, I have a list of things that I'm be ordering from you, because I'm looking at your skin and I'm like, okay, I need to make sure that I get on whatever face regimen that she's on. I need to make sure on that.
And I just also started wearing like makeup. So I'm wearing like the foundation, and of course it's black on, lip bar. I got lip bar on, my eyes, my everything. So, and also just making sure what I'm putting in my body is healthy, doing the rose water, rose oil, soap. Yeah, and just being in my joy and not stressing and not holding on to stuff.
Constantly detoxing.
Yes.
I love it. Well, there's not any, you don't wear a heavy amount of makeup. I can tell that you still got skin.
Yeah. It's some light, just to, look like I'm cute.
You're cute, and you super cute.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. Beautiful.
Thank you.
So what do you have? What's your vibe for the rest of the week? What's your flow?
Yeah. Gonna make me some good food, continuing to listen to my body. Like I'm about to put my feet on the earth, do some yin yoga, just moving through that, meeting with clients, creating the space for calls, and like receiving that abundance and just being like attuned and staying elevated.
Yeah.
That's what I'm on. What about you?
More love, more power. I'm going to, I've been feeling the shift of greater balance in my rest. So I'm just calling in rest. The shop is closed for the next couple of weeks while we prepare for the grand opening. So we're doing a lot of preparations around that. I'm working with a youth group at the YTL. And balancing that all and always doing my practice and feeling in my body and connecting with others as the energy calls. So beautiful. Well, tell everybody
You are a weaver. You are a weaver. That is for sure.
Yeah,
that's one of them.
That's that water flow. It's like where are all the channels, that we can connect and flow into. So yes, I appreciate you seeing that and being available for that as well. Yeah. Let everybody know what you do and where they can follow you and support your work.
Yeah, so you can find me on my website at www.mysticalminister.com. I have a 12-week program called the Sovereign Initiation, where I take people through like worldly, unworldly, transformative healing for 12 weeks. We work on the mind, body, spirit, soul, sexual healing, all of that. And yeah, you can find me on Facebook, Shauna Williams, and also on Instagram at @Shauna_Williams. And that's me. I also have a book like Joy showed earlier, The Spiritual Magic of a Queer POC, which is available. You can message me for it or get it on Amazon. And then my podcast is now I Am Sovereign instead of The Divine Query. So I Am Sovereign podcast, available on all platforms. Yeah, that's me.
Thank you. Yes, I saw that podcast change. Yeah, we'll have to talk about later what that was. Because I know that was a whole nother
story. Like, have you on the podcast. So yeah. And where can people find you to get all of this? You have so many offerings. So
yes. We're here on Tuesday Tea every Tuesday live. And I always announce that ahead of time, let you know what time, who's gonna be the guest. My link is in the bio, but it's comedicarts24.space. I am also a spiritual teacher, consult, and I work in mental, behavioral, emotional health, and I am a wellness educator as well. So I have the wellness books, we have the teas, we have the brand with all the other goodies going on, so you can shop, and my crystal art as well. Can't forget about that. All the things.
So you guys have been feeling the body like asking for a higher level of health. Joy, definitely, you have a book that's on like cleansing. So definitely getting that.
Yeah.
And getting a consult with.
Yes. Thank you, Sister Love, for joining me.
Love you.
Yeah. We got to connect real soon in the flesh. I need a hike, so we need to do that. I know you're like, oh, I know it's me. I know.
But I believe that it's going to happen. Okay. You'll come.
Pull me in. Okay. Pull me in.
I will. Bye.
Love you. Peace.
Love you too.